Hey, what's up guys? It's Mikhail, Bjornson here today, and today we're going to be continuing my series on programming in Java. And so last episode or last video, we learned how to set up Eclipse in the JDK. And this episode we're going to be actually doing a little bit of coding and doing some fun stuff in your first program. So we're going to go here to hit go to Workbench. And the first thing we're going to do is over here in the Package Explorer, we're going to right click here, we're going to select New, and then Java Project. And when this loads up, we can call this project name, we'll call it Hello World. Okay, and now we're going to open this up with the little arrow, and here is our little source folder here. We're going to right click on that, we're going to create new, and then we're going to create a package and call this Hello World. And then inside of that package we're going to create a new class called Hello World. Okay, alright, so now that we've done that, we can do the thing I wanted to get to today. So we're going to be doing the classic program and learning most computer languages. When you learn it, Hello World is typically the first thing you learn how to write. So what we're going to do here is we're going to type public static void main, and then we're going to open parentheses, and Eclipse should put the close parentheses behind that and put the cursor in the middle. And now we're going to type capital S string, open close brackets, and then we're going to call this args. We're going to get out of here, and then we're going to create two curly braces like so. Now what that does is that creates the main method. The main method, this is the class. So it's the main method. The main method is essentially when you start your program, this is where it goes to. This is the first thing that your program goes to. So of everything that goes on, and you can have 120 1,000 lines of code. When you program, it will go to this method, and this is where your program just essentially starts. So what we're going to do now is we're going to type capital S system dot or period out period print ln, and so we're going to do that, and then we're going to take a what are they called? Quotes, double quotes, and we're going to type in hello world, and then we can get out of that and put a semicolon behind this. Semicolon is very important, and Java is very picky about them. It just tells the program this is the end of my command. So right now you're commanding the system, the out part of it, and println to say hello world, and that's a command it's giving to it, to the library and all that stuff. A lot of stuff you don't really need to know, but essentially this command gives and puts out hello world. So we can go over here and hit run, and as you can see, you want to check this always save resources before launching. It's a great thing to have, so when you run it, it'll automatically save everything, so you don't have to do all this stuff. So okay, and as you can see, if you look down here in our console, we have hello world, and that's about it for learning. It's about it for the program, but I'm gonna go a little in depth, and because this video is shorter, I'm going to do an in-depth talk to it now, but in later videos when I'm teaching you stuff that's making the video longer, I'll go and make a separate in-depth video for that video. So, but just to start getting a little bit in-depth now is so first things first is this thing public. You might ask yourself, what does this mean? Like, why is that there? Is that necessary? Is it anything? You might also be asking yourself, why did that turn purple when I typed it? Well, purple, when a word is typed out and it turns purple, new is one of them, static, void, package, import. There's very, very many of them. These are keywords that you're going to have to remember. They'll appear purple, so you don't really have to remember them, but you'll come to see it later on, so you don't have to worry about them at the moment. But a little bit in depth. So public is just saying that because you can create multiple classes. This is called a class, and you can create multiple classes. So if you were in another class, public just says that anyone who has access to this method can get to this method. So it's like there's two different things. There's also a private method, as you can see. There's also private, if I can type. As you can see, it turns purple as well. So there's privates and publics. Private just means that only code in this class can see that method and use the method, and public just means that anyone who can access this class can access this method. And public static void main, so you have to type this out exactly, or else your program won't start there. So just keep that in mind. Static is something I'm not going to get into right now because this is a little bit more advanced and it's not really something you should be worried about at the moment. I'll get into it later in other videos when it comes into play, when we start actually learning about stuff and static is actually important. But for right now, you don't need to learn what that is. Okay, so what is this void word here? What is this void word? What does that mean? This void word here in purple is telling us that, or telling the program that this method here called main is going to return nothing at all, like nothing, void. It's going to return void. It's not going to return anything at all. Now there's a couple of different things you can put in here if you were creating a different method and not putting in the main. So you can do public static int, you can do booleans. Ints are integers, booleans are either true or false, and you can do very, very many different types of it, and it just tells you it just tells what the method is going to return. So something like if you were creating a game or something like that and you wanted to, let's say, get the x coordinate of said character, you would have a public static int get x, right? And so in here you would just return x, or whatever the x is thing. So int is just saying that that whatever we return is going to be an integer. If this was a boolean, that it would only return true or false. Just kind of giving an insight to the program before the method's called. And this word here, main, is the name of the method. It's called the main method, and it's where your program starts. Inside these parentheses, and you can name this anything you want. For the main method, for it to start, you have to name it main, and you have to put this in there. But anything else, you can, like you saw, you can get x. You can put whatever you want there. But inside these parentheses here is your what's called parameters. So in order to call this method, you must have these parameters. So you have a string array called args, which this method calls args. It's a little bit more advanced, but parameters are just saying, okay, so if I were to do public static void, or yeah, void, do something, and then did that, And so in order for this to work, so if I wanted an int x, let's say that, for whatever reason. So if we were to call this method called do something, see, it would yell at us. Eclipse is yelling at us saying, hey, we need to add an argument to it, and it's saying, hey, you need to put an integer in there. So it's a parameters class. So this is what it needs to work. And there's a lot of different things you can use this for, but don't worry too much about it. I'm just going a little bit in depth with everything, giving a little bit more of an insight on what these things are doing. And I guarantee you, if you don't understand now, that is perfectly fine. You will understand it later on if you continue to watch the series. You will understand what goes on. So, but that about does it for this video. I'll be probably putting up more videos here soon on going a little bit more in depth and doing some more fun stuff like getting input from the command prompt. You can type in here as of their moment. It doesn't respond to anything, but we can do stuff like that. But until then, I'll see you guys later. Peace.